All right, I want to do a quick little Yamabisi update because I've been not reluctant, but I've given the winter and all the things going on. I had some things I had to finish up on this project, and I got some questions in the comments, and I certainly appreciate it. One question we got today actually was related to the water. I know the Massachusetts term, we call it a pisser. But this is where the water comes out to make sure your water pump is working appropriately. It just spits out the back. When I did my first video starting it for the first time, you couldn't really see it because it was barely running, but it does in fact spray water out the back. A couple things I had to do and some lessons learned with my Yamabisi experience. One was that this is a 1970 Boston Whaler 13, and it's got this curve to the transom. And it's got the cutout meant for a 15-inch short shaft. And I think, my lesson learned here was that while I have mounted this on the original transom height, a jack plate probably would have been a better choice, just because it would have been easier, I think, on the install to get the height right. And the reason why I say it would have been easier is that you see this contraption right here, these two plates? These plates are essentially fabricated Z brackets that I got from my local hardware store and some iron pipe to essentially connect. And the reason for this is that I used Teleflex steering, and the Teleflex steering has to essentially go through a bolt. This is where this whole rod, there's a stainless steel rod that goes from here all the way to here out, and that feeds through right here on the engine mount. But the thing is, this curved transom gets in the way, and so you won't have the full range of motion. So there's no way I could have used that. And if I had used a jack plate, I would have been able to have it a little higher up and away from the back of the transom, and it would have been able to fit in the OEM slot. So we're going to see. These brackets are pretty rigid. I think that they'll work. I might have to do an upgrade there in the future. But, it should work for its first test run. A couple other lessons learned. I'm kind of embarrassed to share this, but I'm going to share it because I'm sure anybody buying a Yamabisi is probably thinking, how can I do things without spending a fortune? This is actually my second forward control system, and I screwed up the one that Yamabisi, the manufacturer, the seller on Alibaba sent me. So here was my confusion. This install was actually very easy with these cables. You get a Teleflex steering kit. I got mine from Amazon. This one, when you connect it, in the engine's off, it doesn't feel right. Like it turns, like I can go forward and I can go in reverse, but reverse doesn't go very far. And I have some experience with these types of controls. We have one on a pontoon boat, and what's happening is that when the engine is off, you don't have the full range of motion to go in reverse. I thought there was a problem with the actual control assembly inside this unit, where the cable would not enable me to move it forward or reverse. I also thought it was a problem that maybe it was back at the motor. Everything looked fine in the motor, and I thought it looked fine here. Well, it turns out, start the engine and put it in reverse, and suddenly you realize you can get more throttle, and this can travel further when the engine is on. So I essentially hacked the original unit that came with my Yamabisi motor. I hacked it apart trying to troubleshoot, why doesn't it get more throttle? Why can't I accelerate more in reverse? And the reality is, idiot, turn the engine on and put it in reverse, and you'd actually seen that it would have the right RPMs. Okay, another thing I want to share. Let's see. Oh, I bought this mount. Okay. I know I'm going backwards here, but I want to share this silly little mount. I think it's a C-Star brand. It's meant for you to offset the Teleflex steering cable. This mount, a single mount, did not work for clamping onto this very well. There was play in the bracket. And so although I put the 3 holes here and I used some adhesive, this is watertight, I'm not going to remove it, but I'm no longer using this as the mount. That was one of my alternatives, trying to find a factory mount. I say that, think about, how you're going to hook this up. If you have a transom like I do on a Boston Whaler, make sure you get the clearance. That would have been the cheapest answer. This part alone, I want to say, was over $100 for this bracket that would have clamped here, and it didn't work well for my steering setup. I want to share something inside the hood, because I had another idiot moment. Just don't make fun of me, internet. Okay, so I got everything done. Steering connected, let's see, steering connector, everything was essentially done where I could splash this thing in the water. And then I had a no start situation, no power. And I had the dumbest experience, I think, of electronics, which is check your bolt tightness on your ground. I essentially, this bolt was actually loose just ever so slightly. It wasn't like you didn't notice it, but it was just ever so slightly. And so I had a bad ground. So I went through and tightened all the bolts related to the starter. And it was actually, sorry, not this bolt. This bolt was slightly loose and this bolt. And one of the ways you can tell if you have a problem up front with your starter is to literally, well, maybe you're not supposed to do this because don't try this at home, kids. If you put a screwdriver across these two bolts, you can bypass the starter relay to find out, do you have a relay issue? I didn't have a relay issue, but nonetheless, I thought I might have had a problem. I certainly didn't. And so all in all, I felt like that was sort of a foolish thing. Like anybody would tell you, if you buy something, specifically, not the name brand, you might need to check bolts, just like if you're buying a dirt bike or, one of the ATVs, same sort of thing. Check the bolts, make sure they're nice and tight. Other than that, I haven't had any issues. I did run it a few more times. I'm not going to start it in this video. But we are essentially good to go. I'll share that my taillights, I can't stand bad grounds. I wired up my taillights. They never quite work right when you have a bad ground. Old trailer. This one is a steel trailer that's been painted primer gray and it had a lot of rust on it. I tried to sand it off. There's wireless trailer lights now, kids, boys and girls. They're not much more money. So essentially they're magnetized and will stick to the back of this trailer. And then it's got a fob that plugs into the back of your truck, for your flat 4 connector. I think it's the round connector, not the flat 4, but whatever, doesn't matter. Save yourself some headache, kids, and don't deal with bad grounds. I never see taillights working on trailers, especially boat trailers, very long, especially when they're older boats. I still haven't installed my fuel filter. I did buy a fuel filter to go inline. I also got a replacement hose. This is the original. This stuff is flimsy, guys. This is not going to be the hose that I keep on this unit for very long. It'll work. Just make sure you don't pinch it or crimp it because you will restrict fuel. Guys, I think that's it for now. I hope, you guys out there that are looking for other Yamabisi motors know that it looks and operates legit. I mean, I'm going to do some, I want to splash this with my son shortly, and we'll get some more footage up here of this thing running. But so far, so good. It took a lot longer to get this boat ready than I thought it would be, but I think that's what they say, right? Boat, bring out another 1,000. So have fun, everybody, and get out on the water. It's getting to be beautiful. It's going to be 80-something degrees next week here in the Boston area, and we're ready to do some fishing.